Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Zodiac Bandit, and normally in Critical Role, every character, for the most part, every PC, is pretty good. They're pretty well good guys. They sometimes skew into the more neutral area, but very rarely do they turn into that dark side version of themselves. But today we're going to be talking about those moments where they become a little bit too evil, a little bit too mean, too dark, and they have no emotion, they don't care, they're just doing what they have to do to move forward. And today we're going to be talking about the coldest moments in Critical Role. One for each campaign. I could talk about a handful for a lot of characters, but I wanted to narrow it down to the ones that I think are the best. So here are the coldest moments for Critical Role, one for each campaign. Let's go. This goes without saying, spoilers for campaign 1, 2, and 3. Just wanted to put that out there before this video truly started. Spoilers for campaign 1, 2, and 3. Click off now if you're not caught up with any of those.
I want to walk over to the carriage driver.
You sense where they are?
You walk over to the carriage driver, who is currently on the ground. This young man who's horribly hurt. Part of his torso is burned, and he's like
Don't look at the briarwoods, dick.
Please spare my life, please. I'm just. What do you want from me?
What do you know?
About what?
I shoot him in the right hand.
It's an easy enough hit. He's prone before you. 3 of his fingers are blown off, and the kind of bloody stuff shaking it. I'm sorry. Look.
You're from Whitestone, yes?
You don't know what it's like. I have no choice.
Well, you do now. I'd reload again and put it on his left hand.
Please don't, please.
And first was campaign 1's video or clip, that being Percy shooting the hands off the carriage driver for the Briarwoods carriage. This was extremely needless to maim this character in such a way. A bullet next to their head or just aiming it at his head probably would have been enough. But he elected to shoot the fingers off of him, which that's brutal to me, in my opinion. Losing limbs or appendages to me is unnecessary in a lot of moments. But also, this character probably didn't know a whole lot anyway, and I'm pretty sure it's later revealed that he doesn't know a terrible amount, with the exception of the state of Whitestone. He doesn't know too much about anything that's really going on. He's just looking to better his life in this shitty situation that he's in because he lives in the shithole of Whitestone. So he's trying to not die by the hands of the Briarwoods. So now he comes here doing his job, thinking he's doing a better thing, and he gets his fingers fucking blown off, which is mildly unfair to him. But at the same time, Percy is known for not being very merciful. He is no mercy Percy after all, so it's right up his alley. And realistically, this slot serves as 2 purposes. One being this being the moment I always think about when I think of No Mercy Percy. I always think about this one first. And this also just serves as a point to, point out No Mercy Percy in general, because that is what he is throughout the entire campaign, for the most part. He does eventually mellow out. But this is his character, so I wanted to just point that out in this section here, because his whole character is, it stands a little different from the rest, as he is always thinking about this kind of thing, how he can, be merciless. Is that the right word? I don't know if that's the right word. He's not very merciful. There you go. So, this is a Percy slot.
Essek drifts over to you, Ford. Ford. The Rangers have had a sighting. A troop of 5 approaching. They're asking if they are to engage.
Yes.
What?
You're a bastard. You're a bastard. Engage.
Oh, no.
He puts the stone away and gives you a very stoic nod.
You cold-hearted snake. Snake in my way.
The second clip is the campaign 2 clip, and the one that honestly inspired this video. I've been thinking about this sort of thing for a while, and yeah, I love this moment. It is Ford, the leader of the Mighty Nine, having to make a decision about some rangers that the Kryn dynasty or Essek has sort of loaned to them to sort of support them in their efforts against Lucien and his troop. And the party got ahead of Lucien, and they were a bit exhausted because they had gotten engaged into a mild fight, so they had to rest up and get some of their resources back. And as they were waiting, Ford, who didn't need to take as long as the rest to get his resources back, was awake with Essek, who only needed 4 hours to sleep because he's an elf. And they sort of got a message saying, hey, our enemies are here. Ford elected that this troop who was going to get wiped out no matter what they did if they elected to fight, including Dagon, one of their guides here in Aor, or the Aoran area, Iselcross, he said, just send them in. We need to stay here and rest as long as possible because everyone needs to rest up to get their stuff back. They needed to make sure that this moment could ensure them a couple extra hours, because if Lucien was aware that someone was here and waiting for them, they might slow down and take even more time. So Ford was thinking in the long run, while everyone else was thinking, no, don't do that, we can just take them now. Ford, being the only one awake at this time, made the tough call, an extremely cold-blooded, tactical call. And it's a fun one. I really enjoy this moment because everyone's reactions are legit. They're so upset with him. Their facial expressions are like in pure shock that Ford would be willing to sacrifice other people to betterment themselves, because up to this point, Ford has kind of been not necessarily like someone who wouldn't do this sort of thing, but hasn't shown it too often. He would rather the party do something as opposed to letting other people just die needlessly, and this was super cold. This just happened virtually out of nowhere, but it showed that he was the leader and was able to make a tough call when it was necessary. He needed the rest of the party to rest up to be able to do what they needed to, and by the time the enemy got to them, it was a fucking wipeout. Literally, Lucien and Kree were the only two that survived the fight after this moment that happened, and it was perfect. Their ambush was perfect, and this just added to the ambush that came after. So, perfectly cold moment, and it was awesome to see. So if you aren't caught up with Campaign 3, I suggest you click off here, because this next clip is very recent in Campaign 3, and just in general, Campaign 3 spoilers for a handful of things. So, yeah, I would click off if I were you, or click ahead to the next time you see this thumbnail, because then I'll be wrapping up the video. So yeah, see you guys later, see you when you catch up, or see you at that second part, or that other part of the video.
Well, Laudna, how do you want to do this?
I wish there was a trap door that I could slide under.
There's what Matt has.
Oh my god, I hate
deserve
this.
it.
No.
I brought it on myself.
But I love you.
It was very fun.
Oh. Just the darkness and her. For like, I don't know, she just gives in to the darkness. She can't control it anymore.
A familiar purple flame burns down her arm. Not seen really this hue since that brief journey through the shadow to try and retrieve her soul from the woman who once kept it at bay. That flame curls, and as from the ground, the curled roots and dry brush that has been gathered to fill the floor of this cavern begins to sprout vibrant green, and flowers of white petals and blue roses. A beautiful circle of life surrounds the two of them as Bor'dor's skin pales and cracks. His body limps and thins. And in that moment, the apex of natural beauty rising with life, along with the balance of death. You watch the troubled life of Bor'dor Dogson reduced to ash and memory.
And the third and final clip of this video was from Campaign 3, and it's for Laudna killing Bor'dor after it was revealed that he was an enemy. I loved this moment for many reasons, but I want to talk about the coldness of it. First of all, Laudna, she had the choice here to either not kill him and sort of tie him up and deal with him in a different way, or to flat out just execute him. And with her words of not wanting to be betrayed again and being upset that she was allowed to, allowed someone to come in and betray them and hurt her feelings and hurt other people around them, and with sort of the agreeance of everyone else in the party to sort of execute him here, it's just happened. Now, it is extremely cold for a handful of reasons, like I just said. They could have tied him up and done something else with him, but also Bor'dor as a character was very much manipulated and sort of used by the Ruby Vanguard. His hatred for the gods based on his past affected how they manipulated him once he met up with the Ruby Vanguard and potentially even Lucian himself. And it warped him into a person who hated the gods and who hated people who would fight for the gods or worship the gods in any sort of manner. So it's very sad because this character could have been redeemed in one way, because this isn't all his own thinking. He could have definitely have gone on to sort of come back from this and seen a better leaf, been a better person. His mother was an example of someone who was a better person, but in the end failed to, do the right thing, and a lot of bad stuff happened from there, and sort of Bor'dor had to spiral down into where he became the character he is now, or was. And it's just very sad that this character didn't get the chance to redeem himself, because he definitely could have. There's a chance for him to redeem himself, which is why I think it's so cold on the side of Laudna. But they've already seen betrayal once for this party, so seeing it again sort of tipped her over the rails, and it potentially brought back Delilah. So, cold on many different fronts here, and it's a great moment overall. So, there you have it, my coldest moments across all three campaigns, each of them being different varyings of coldness. Some of them are ice cold, and some of them are just a little too cold in the swim. But still enjoy a lot of these moments. I think they're a lot of fun. Campaign 3 in particular is going to sit with me for a long time, thinking about everything that's happened with that and how it's going to affect the story and the characters around it. I'm very excited for that one. It's for that to sort of develop a bit more. So yeah, let me know what your favorite coldest player moments are. And I elected not to put NPC moments in this video because there's a lot of cold NPC moments as well that I could easily slot in here. So I'm going to make a different video for that one as well, and it's going to cover a bit more than 3, but I just felt like player moments, 3 campaigns, just fits really well. So eventually we will have that video on the horizon, but until then, I'll see you guys on Tuesday for whatever video I make next. Peace.